Me too, I was. But
Oh,
I have coffee now.
uh-huh.
Mm-mm.
Didn't you get a good night's sleep last night?
You know, Elia, that's the most ironic part. Last night was the only time I've slept for 7 hours in 1 month,
Oh,
and that was supposed to be a good sleep for me. But I feel sleepy all of a sudden. What about you? Weren't you able to sleep?
um, yeah, I had a good night sleep, but
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
um, I have a cold right now. I have a sore throat, and yesterday I felt cold. So yeah, do I have to say I felt the cold? Mm.
I felt a cold. Like Sorry. Wait a minute. Last night you felt like you were about to have a cold, or you really had a cold?
Yeah, it was cold to me.
Oh,
Bec
cold.
cold.
Yeah, I felt
Mm,
cold. I felt cold.
hmm.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So, yep. I think yeah. Anyway, I caught a cold. So,
Mm-mm.
uh, the other day, when I caught a cold,
Mm-mm.
I didn't take care of myself that much because whenever I have a cold, it was not that severe. I
Mm-mm.
just had a runny nose or
Mm-mm.
coughed. So I
Mm-mm.
thought it would be okay, but yeah, I almost lost my voice, so I couldn't speak well at that time. So
Mm-mm.
this time, yeah, I uh, thought I had to do something. So yesterday, when I felt something was wrong in my body, so I wrapped my neck
Mm-mm.
to make it warm, and I
Mm-mm.
tried to drink warm water,
Mm-mm.
and
Mm-mm.
I went to bed early, but
Mm-mm.
I couldn't fall asleep. I don't know why. So anyway, I just studied English, and then yeah, I
Oh,
um,
hell yeah.
I went back to bed. So
Mm-mm.
I slept around 5 hours, and then I just woke up,
Mm-mm.
and then yeah, after 10 or 20 minutes, I tried to sleep again. So yeah,
Mm-mm.
I think totally I slept for 7 hours, but yeah,
Wow.
I'm sleepy. I don't know
Mm.
why. Maybe yeah, I'm not in a good condition.
Yes, yes. You know, Elia, I found something out. Um, okay, even if you slept, let's say 10 hours, even if you slept for 10 hours, but it wasn't consistent, then
Mm-hmm.
you would really feel sleepy. For example, if you wake up after 5 hours and then you
Mm-hmm.
stay up for a bit and then you go to sleep again, it would
Mm.
feel like you're still tired and exhausted after that.
I
So
see.
try as much to have a consistent time of sleep or period or duration of sleep so you'll
Mm.
feel better. And I'm so sorry, but you don't take medicines, do you?
I didn't take any medicine.
Oh, water therapy would be better, I guess.
Uh,
Mm-mm.
yeah, my symptom was not that severe, so I think
Mm-mm.
yeah, it would be okay. Even
Mm-mm.
if I don't take yeah medicine.
Mm-mm. All right. Okay. I do hope you feel better. Of course, you wouldn't want to spend your weekend with a cold, so try to recover as soon as possible.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I don't like that. This is the only time of the week where you're not busy and then you have a cold. That is such a buzzkill. And
But I think it's better. Yeah, because if I have a cold during weekdays, then I have to speak when
Mm-mm.
I work or when I
Ah.
study when I have a class with you, anyway, I have to speak. But
Mm-mm.
during the weekend, I don't need to speak that much.
Mm-mm.
So I
Mm-mm.
think it's better to have a cold on
Mm-mm.
weekends.
Mm, maybe yes. Besides, you would have an excuse to stay in bed.
Yeah, right.
Yay! Yeah, that's awesome.
Today,
Okay, but
today I didn't feel well, so I
mm-mm.
asked my husband. I don't want to cook, so can you fix dinner for me and yeah our kids? But
Mm-mm.
he haven't cooked that much, and
Mm-mm.
he doesn't know any recipe he can
Mm-mm.
cook. So
Mm-mm.
he just told me I can help you, but I
Mm-mm.
can't be in charge of the yeah in charge of
Mm-mm.
dinner. So
Mm-mm.
I criticized him, but anyway, yeah, I really didn't want to cook today.
Oh, that's fine. You're more like no, your daughter is more like you, Elia.
Mhm.
Remember the time when she felt sick
Mhm.
and she tried to pretend that she was still sick so that she wouldn't go to school. She's a bit like you. Okay, okay. But aren't you planning on going anywhere this weekend?
We are going to zoo because
Mm,
we don't have any. I can't come up with any place we can
mm-mm,
go. So
mm-mm,
there is a small zoo around my
mm-mm,
house. It takes
mm-mm,
only 10 minutes
mm-mm,
by car.
mm-mm, mm-mm,
So we will prepare some vegetables. So
mm-mm.
my kids will feed animals. Yeah, it's prohibited. But
Yes.
anyway, if we don't feed animals, yeah, there is no fun. So
Mm-mm,
anyway, we always bring some vegetables like
mm-mm,
carrots or
mm-mm,
cabbages. Yeah,
mm-mm.
and yeah, my daughter really likes to feed a small, very young rabbits.
Oh, yes. I know, right? Where's the thrill in going to the zoo if you're not going to feed them?
Mm.
Well, at least I mean, it's assured that the food you're providing is healthy and safe for them, so it's okay, I guess.
Mm, even though I prepare good food like vegetables, but
Mm,
I heard it's not good for animals because many people give them food, then they can get fat.
mm.
And I read a news article anyway, it's not good for yeah animals.
Oh, is that so? I
Hmm.
didn't know that. You know what? It's very ironic that I've never been to a zoo in my entire life.
Oh, really?
Yes, I haven't. Even there is this zoo here in the Philippines, Manila Zoo. I don't know if it's still operating to this day, but I haven't been there. So
Oh,
I'm curious. Mm-mm.
oh, isn't there any zoo in your city?
No.
Oh, really?
Yes, because it's on a mountain. It's really cold here, by the way, very cold. So, I'm not sure some types of animals would survive here. Besides, it's a city, but it's not as big as Manila. It's very small. Just imagine like three mountains together. Okay, that's small. It's not big.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
then why did you choose to live there?
Oh, primarily because of the weather here most days, and it's the
It's cool. That's why.
yes, it's
Mm.
cold, that's why, even in summer, which is why the city here is known as the summer capital of the Philippines, because every summer people flock to this city because of the weather. Mm-mm,
Uh-huh.
mm-mm.
So there is nobody you already know in your city
Here,
before you moved.
none, none.
Oh.
But Sorry, I'm talking a lot. When I came here,
Uh-huh.
it turns out that my classmates back in Papua New Guinea, my country before,
Uh-huh.
my classmates and my neighbors came here to study.
Uh-huh.
So I met up with them and then I said, "You look very familiar." And so we tried to trace our history and then we learned that we were classmates. We even had pictures before when we were kids and then so they're here. So on weekends I get to hang out with them now.
Oh, so you mean they came to the city to
Yes.
study, and then at the time, why did you come to that city?
Oh, initially I came here because one of my best friends in college said I found a good job here, and
Uh-huh.
she was referring to Mint.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, so this was my very first job.
Uh-huh. So your
Mm,
friend recommend this
yes.
job to you.
Yes, yes, she
Oh.
did.
Who
Uh,
is your friend?
um, her okay. When she was taking the interview here and the evaluations, her name was Mina. Okay,
Uh-huh.
teacher Mina. However, they wanted her to become part of the administration.
Oh.
So they took her there instead of making her a teacher. It's
Oh.
because she was very good. She was very good in speaking. However, she lacked warmth. Okay, students evaluated that
Ah.
she was too strict. But
Ah.
they really liked her because she was kind and bubbly. She was very good, so they took her to the admin office.
So bubbly, what does it mean?
Bubbly, cheerful, very
Uh-huh.
cheerful, but in class, the students were afraid of her because she sounded serious.
Uh-huh. But if she started working, yeah, here and meant
Mm-mm.
as a teacher, I think she would be a good teacher in the
Mm.
end. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. They could have trained her. I don't know why, but they really wanted to take her into the admin office.
Yeah, it
Yes.
would be a
But
better
mm-mm,
choice.
mm-mm,
So compared to the salary between uh, teacher and staff, which one is better?
teachers.
Teacher.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay,
Oh.
I felt sorry for her because she received a very minimal salary.
Oh.
Mm,
Oh.
Uh, mm,
But I know some teachers, Harry and Dylan.
mm,
I don't
mm,
know the exact name of them, but
mm,
they
mm,
worked as a teacher, but they
mm,
quit this job and
mm,
then
mm.
they became a staff at Mint. That's
Yes.
what I heard. So if the
Mm-hmm.
salary is low, then
Mm-mm.
why did they want to be a staff at Mint?
Mm. Their specific job is training now.
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
Okay, trainers get I think more incentives because of the people they're training, the trainees.
uh-huh.
Okay, so they're part of the administration, but their job is training, so they get a higher salary. But
Mm-hmm.
for administration employees, okay, like personnels, writers, uh, what do you call this? NS correctors, evaluators, they
Mm,
get a lower pay. Mm,
okay.
yes. All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I have something I wanted to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that Hangul, or the Korean language, is officially taught in some countries as a part of their educational curriculum in the universities?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay,
There.
which
Mm-hmm.
countries?
Oh, but you mean second language, right? As a second language.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
even in the US, there
Mm-mm,
is a school who
mm-mm.
adopts that adopts
At,
Korean,
mm-mm,
mhm,
mm-mm.
Korean as a second language.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's good,
It's
but
good?
yeah, it's good. But I think Korean. is really needed in their lives. I doubt
Mm-mm.
that. So even though they learned it, um, is there any way they can use, yeah,
Yes.
Korean?
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because recently there was an issue, a very huge issue in the Philippines,
Mm-hmm.
okay, about the Department of Education replacing the Filipino language with Korean.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people, okay, they weren't very hostile to the idea, but they said, why would you replace Filipino language with Korean?
Mm-hmm.
However, that news was fake. So, um, Filipino is still taught. I mean, from early kindergarten to grade 3, Filipinos only use Tagalog language. And
Mm-hmm.
then grade 4 onwards, they start trying to incorporate English.
Mm-hmm.
But in the universities, they added Korean to their curriculum.
Oh,
Mm-mm,
why?
mm-mm. That's the thing. Uh, they added German, Japanese, or how
Uh-huh.
do you call the Japanese language? Is
일본어?
it Nippongo or
일본어. In
oh
Korean, you mean?
Ilbono?
Mm-hmm.
Japanese. Oh yeah. Nihongo, Mandarin, French, Spanish, and German, and
Mm-hmm.
now Korean.
Mm-hmm. So
Mm-mm.
there are many languages they
Yes.
can
Mm-mm.
learn. Okay.
Mm-mm. How about in Korea? When you were in college, did they teach you any other languages?
Maybe there are some classes we can
Mm-mm.
learn several
Mm-mm.
languages, but
Mm-mm.
mostly we choose English and
Mm-mm.
and Chinese
Mm-mm.
and Japanese. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
except
Mm-mm.
for three languages, I don't think people try to learn, yeah, a language, other
Mm-mm.
languages. And
Mm-mm.
in high school, we used
Mm-mm.
to learn French. When I was in high school, I learned French, but since France is not a strong country anymore compared to the past, so nowadays most high school students learn Chinese or yeah, Japanese. But
Yeah.
most I think most students would learn Chinese.
Mm. Yes. Okay. How does that benefit Koreans? If I may just know, learning Chinese. I noticed a lot of Koreans do know how to speak Chinese. Okay, what? How does
Mm,
that benefit them?
maybe if they have a chance to cooperate with the Chinese people,
Mm-mm.
then maybe
Mm.
it can help. But if they don't need Chinese while
Mm-mm.
they are working, I don't
Mm-mm.
think it is needed. Even in English, even English. Uh,
Mm-mm.
we learn English, but there
Mm-mm.
are many people who don't
Mm-mm.
have any chances to speak in
Mm-mm.
English in their
Mm-mm.
whole life. So,
Mm.
yeah, I don't think English is really needed uh, f-
Mm-mm.
to everyone, for
Mm-mm.
everyone.
For everyone,
Mm-hmm.
yes. For you personally, Elia, um, if okay, if English wasn't really needed for you, would you still prefer to learn it? Because I think you're already good at it.
Actually, English is not needed to me that much. When
Mm-mm.
I worked at my previous company, my English was not that good. I mean,
Mm-mm.
I could express what I wanted to say,
Mm-mm.
a certain point at a certain
Mm-mm.
point, but
Mm-mm.
uh, if I had to speak with native speakers,
Mm-mm.
it was really hard to communicate with each other. Just
Mm-mm.
casual, I can talk about daily lives, but
Mm-mm.
technical. If I had to talk about technical problems, it
Mm-mm.
was really hard. So
Mm-mm.
I mean, I didn't need to speak in English because
Mm-mm.
there were many people who
Mm-mm.
have to speak English well. That's why they were hired in my
Ah.
at my company. So
Mm-mm.
anyway, but after I quit my job, and my husband always blamed me for studying English because it is not needed. He always insisted that I waste my time in studying English. So, but he changed his mind because nowadays I teach my kids English,
Mm. Mm-mm.
and my son is really good at listening. So
Yes.
I asked my son that can you notice the difference between L or R, P
Huh?
or F when you hear it?
Mm-mm.
Then
Mm-mm.
he said, yeah, it is really easy. But to me or my husband, yeah,
Mm-mm.
it is really difficult. So anyway,
Mm-mm.
he how can I say? My husband admires me.
Mm-mm. Yes.
Now, yeah,
Mm-mm.
it is worth
Mm-mm.
learning English because
Yes.
anyway, I was helpful to my
Mm-mm.
kids.
Yes. A lot helpful. That's nice. Okay, at such a young age, your son is able to distinguish the difference. I guess that's why, remember, we talked about learning English at a very early age. I
Mm-hmm.
think
Yeah.
that would really help him
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because, even here in the Philippines, even when we have a lot of English teachers, but that doesn't mean that all Filipinos can speak and understand English well.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't really learn English at a very early age in school.
Mm-hmm.
So probably it depends on the parents if they wish
Mm.
to teach their children very early.
How about you?
Mm-mm. What
When
about me?
when did you learn English? Did you learn English from your
Mm.
parents?
Yes and
Oh.
no.
And yes,
um,
no.
it's very complicated, Elia. English wasn't my first language,
Uh-huh.
but as I grew older, I had a hard time communicating with my fellow classmates because I studied in an international school as a young
Uh-huh.
girl, and they
Oh.
spoke English. Okay, since Papua New Guinea was once a colony of Australia,
Uh-huh.
a lot of Australians go there and they influence people with their accent, their language. So I remember growing up feeling very insecure
Uh-huh.
because I couldn't speak English well. I mean, I stuttered. I could understand them, but I got teased for not being able to speak English well.
So, where
And that
in your Papua New I forgot that.
Papua New Guinea,
In
Papua New
that
Guinea.
country, you mean you were attending to a international school?
Yes, yes, an
Ah.
international school. And then I started learning better when I was around, I only started speaking better when I was around 11 or 12 because
Uh-huh.
that's when my uncle and my father forced me to read English novels.
Uh-huh.
And I did not learn, to be honest, I did not learn that much in school,
Uh-huh.
only through novels and watching.
Uh-huh.
Mm-mm. Yes. So I started very late. I mean, 9 or 10 is a very late time to start using English fluently. But that's why I believe that people can learn at any age. But when you start younger, it has more benefits.
But when
Mm.
you at school, when your friends were talking, when your friends were speaking in English,
Ah,
you said you were able to understand what they were talking, right?
yes.
So,
Yes,
if
yes.
you didn't
Mm.
learn English, how could you understand? How you could understand what they were speaking?
Probably due to the English lessons that we learned. Okay, and from my surroundings, I did not really learn from an educational basis, but by my surroundings. I was a very keen observer. I listened a lot.
Uh-huh.
So I was not the type of person to speak English because I was afraid. Instead, I just listened until I picked
Uh,
everything up.
so
Mm-mm,
except
yeah.
for your school lessons,
Mm-mm.
you didn't have any chances to listen to English?
Not really, not
Oh.
really. Yeah, except
Mhm.
by movies. Yes, I loved
Uh,
watching kids' movies. I learned through those.
uh, did
Um,
your teachers speak in English in
y-
class?
yes, yes, they did. They
Ah,
did. Uh, mm-mm.
all classes, I mean, all classes are conducted in English, you mean?
Yes, yes, but
Wow.
that was only for two years. I studied in an international school for 2 years.
Uh-huh.
So they spoke English all throughout, but after that, when I was around 10, I moved to a smaller village, so we had a public school that spoke the native language mostly.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
why did you attend to international school? Because
Oh,
of
that,
your father?
yes. My education was free that time, but we had to move. We had to
Oh,
move.
uh,
Mm-mm.
is your father a foreigner in your
Uh-huh.
previous country?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
He was an Indian. He studied in
oh,
the UK, and then he managed a tea plantation in PNG.
oh,
Unfortunately, I didn't get to learn English from him because we didn't talk a lot.
oh,
Yes.
okay.
I have a question, Elia.
Mhm.
In Korea, at what age do they start using English to teach subjects in schools?
When I was young, I started learning from middle school. So when I
Mm-mm.
was in middle school, I started learning English, but it
Mm-mm.
changed. So nowadays, when they are in their third grade, uh,
Mm-mm.
I mean in elementary school, so when they are around 10,
Mm.
then they started studying English.
Okay, okay. Then we're almost the same, even here in the Philippines.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we almost have the same curriculum. They only start using English at third grade. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Okay. Anyway, Elia, sorry, no lesson again today.
It's okay.
Okay, are you sure you're gonna feel better soon?
Oh,
Are you
now,
okay?
yeah, now I'm much better because I had a great time with you.
We always gossip. I think gossip really makes women feel better.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Elia, thank you so much, and please get well soon. I'll see you again on Monday then. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Take care.